Hey, welcome. My name is Kelsey. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today, I have a very long overdue Shop My Stash video. So, I really want to be that person that is like on top of Shop My Stash stuff and is like constantly rotating the makeup that I'm pulling from. But I just can't. It's like overwhelming and I've just had a very hard time with it, or like I feel like I haven't reached for stuff enough before I switched it out. So today I'm trying to limit the amount of stuff that I'm putting in my Shop My Stash so then I can change it more frequently in hopes that I'm like getting bored of or just like need some variety, and maybe it'll spur me to be better. But we'll see. By the way, if you're interested in seeing this makeup look, this was my last video. I will link it up above. I tried out a bunch of new Glossier products, / was also like a review of Glossier products. So if you're interested in seeing that, I will link it above. It's like a full face of Glossier. There's a few things that aren't Glossier, but pretty much a full face. So instead of taking you through like every section and pulling stuff, I've just gone through and pulled some stuff that I wanted to start off the beginning-ish of this year, and then we can go from there. So I do have like a drawer down here I'll show you, and then stuff on top of my vanity. Everything else that's inside of my vanity is stuff that I'm not working on right now. And I feel like that's something I need to figure out as far as like I feel like I need better organization. Like I don't know if it's I need to put like a little drawer thing underneath my vanity of stuff that I can like easily access better. I don't know. I feel like I need to work on my organization this year a little bit. But without further ado, let's jump in to the products I'll be using for the next like 2 weeks or so. Starting in this drawer here, I have all of my complexion products. Let's start with these concealers. The first is the Glossier Stretch Concealer, and I did purchase this recently, so I'm just trying to use it a little bit, and I love it, so I just want to keep it on hand. Another new one I just got in BoxyCharm. This is the Pretty Vulgar Undercover Concealer, and I've only used this once. It's a little bit dark for my skin tone, but I feel like if I use it with a powder foundation over it, I can kind of pull it off. But so far so good, but I've only used it once, so I want to get some more use out of it. Another new one, this is the Milani Conceal and Perfect. I picked this one up at the beginning of the year. I feel like so many concealers came out towards the end of last year, and I just didn't buy any of them. And so now I'm like, I want to try all of them. This one, I'm not really sure what I'm doing with. I might move this to like my eye area, but this is from Billion Dollar Brow, and it's the Brow Duo Pencil, and it's a concealer and highlighter. So we have a concealer on this end, and then like a lighter color on this end. And I don't know, I put it in here because I want to try and use it as a concealer, but I just haven't used it yet, so I want to give that a shot. I got that in BoxyCharm this month as well. For foundations this month, I am using the Glossier Skin Perfector or Skin Tint, Perfecting Skin Tint, a mix of those words. And I have it in the shade G11. I want to use this more. I haven't used it a ton. I've definitely used it enough to have like thoughts on it, but I haven't used it as like an everyday foundation. And then this is the Revolution Conceal and Define. I have this in the shade F3. This is beautiful. I feel like when I got this, I wasn't super into it. I don't know if I've just like learned how to use it better now, but I honestly love this stuff. It looks so good on the skin. It lasts so well, but I do use it very sparingly. My last foundation is the Bare Minerals Matte Foundation. I wear this in the shade Fairly Light. I love this stuff. I've raved about this for years. I've used it for over a decade, and it's honestly my favorite foundation, so I always keep this one on hand. And I have two powders. The first one is the Glossier Wowder Powder. I have this in the shade Light Medium. This is a great everyday powder if I just want something light to set my foundation with. And then I'm also bringing back in the e.l.f. HD, I don't even know what this is. It just says sheer on it. I think this was like an HD setting powder or something. I bought this a while ago and I remember liking it, but I haven't used it in a long time, so I kind of wanted to bring it back in. I would use this to kind of like set everything in place, and so I'll have to have some updated thoughts on that. And then over on this side I have some face palettes. The first one is something that I used to love and I just kind of forgot about it, and one of my friends here on YouTube mentioned it recently. Glamburger, she had mentioned that she had gone through like the entire, I think the light side, and that's funny because that's the side I don't really use. I used to use that a lot. This is also the Wet n Wild Make a Glow Contouring Palette in the shade Dulce de Leche. I have had probably 3 of these, and this used to be a favorite. This is a nice setting powder, but I do like this bronzer, so I haven't used it in a long time, so I thought I would put it back in my everyday makeup drawer and see how I feel about it. The other 2 palettes, this is a brand new one to me. This is from Wander Beauty. It's the Trip for 2 Blush and Bronzer Duo, and I got this in BoxyCharm this month. So far so good. I've used it like 2 or 3 times, and so I want to get some more use out of that. And an old favorite, I haven't used this in probably, at least 6 months. This is the Manizer Sisters palette. This is from The Balm, and it's just a bunch of like highlights, but you've got Mary Luminizer, which is the classic and beautiful, the Cindy Luminizer, which I use as like a blush topper, and then the Betty Luminizer. I haven't gotten a ton of use out of that one. I have used it as like a bronzer, like to mix in with like a matte bronzer, and it does look really nice, but I love these powders and honestly forgot I had this, and so I want to use this more these next few weeks. And then going down this is like the area of my makeup that I honestly like to switch this up like every day. If I use the same like bronzer and blush combo too many times, I get very bored. So I have too many here. I probably should have narrowed it down more, especially since I had those palettes. This is the Laura Geller blush in the shade Tropic Hues. I got this in a BoxyCharm last year, and honestly, this is one of my favorite blushes, and I haven't used it in a while, so I want to use that. I also have the Glossier Cloud Paint here. It's really nice. I'm wearing it today. It's in the shade Dusk. A little goes a very long way, so I've just been trying to work my way through that a little bit. I have 2 Ciate products. These were both from BoxyCharm in December. Hi! They're very mirrorized, but this is the highlight, and this is like the confetti highlighter. It is really pretty. I have to be a little bit careful with how I use it because it's a little bit dark, but if I use it with like a fluffy brush and really like blend it out onto the cheeks, it looks stunning. And then this is the blush. I forget what these are called. Marbled Light Blush, and I have it in the shade Halo. It's a beautiful blush. I think I've come to realize that these like baked marbled blushes are some of my favorites. I just feel like they look really great on the skin. And I haven't used this one a ton since it's newer, so I want to keep using that one these few weeks. I have this here. This is from my project pan from 2019. This is the Urban Decay highlight in the shade Sin. I have used this for years and have somehow like just hit pan this year, but still have so much product in here. This is like my everyday highlight. I wear this all the time, so I'm keeping this in here. Another one I'm bringing back into the rotation. This is from Model's Own. You can't even see the package anymore. I honestly keep this in my purse a lot of times. This is the Sculpt and Glow Matte Bronzing Powder in the shade Light Tan. It is pretty pigmented. Like, I was a little afraid when I got this because I didn't really look at it. I was just like, oh, that looks like it'd be nice, and I feel like I had heard good things. And then I opened it up and was like, holy crap, that's pretty dark. But I do think it looks really nice on the skin. So I brought that back in because I haven't used it in a while. I also brought back one of my favorite blushes. This is from CoverGirl. This is the Cheekers blush in the shade Iced Cappuccino. I got this towards the end of the year in 2018. And I'm actually going to be doing a video soon of like products that I feel like fell through the cracks like between 2018 and 2019. Because I have so many products that I feel like I haven't talked about a lot because they kind of like fell at the end of 2018. And so this is one of them. It's so good. It's in the shade Iced Cappuccino if I haven't said that already. But it's like such a great everyday blush. It's beautiful. It's got some shine to it, but it's not glittery. It is stunning. I also haven't used this one for a while, but I actually talked about it in my 2019 favorites. This is from Artist Couture. And it's one of the loose or Diamond Glow powders. It's like a loose highlight, and it's in the shade Summer Haze. It's just this beautiful highlight, and I haven't used it in a little while, even though it was like one of my favorites. So I'm gonna pull for that a little bit more. I have one more blush. This is from ColourPop, and this is one of their Super Shock blushes. This is the first product I've had like this. This is the Drop of a Hat Super Shock Cheek powder, and it's kind of like a shimmery color. It's really pretty. I honestly haven't used it as much as I should, so which is why I'm keeping it in here. So I have two other highlights here that I don't need these in my everyday drawer. I have so many highlights, so I'm gonna move these to my vanity. Now moving to the top of my vanity, this is like the stuff that I reach for all the time, or like palettes that's not like my base makeup. And so I wanted to share with you what I'm gonna be using up here. I have some skincare. I have two Bliss serums. One's like a daytime and one's a nighttime. They're both really great, so I'm going to be using those. I'm going to move this candle so I don't light my arm on fire. I also have my Glossier Bubble Wrap eye cream. If you're interested in seeing my review on that, that's also in my Glossier video. I have the Avant Supreme Hyaluronic Acid Duo Moisturizer. Got this in BoxyCharm last month and have been really enjoying it. And then I also have the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Pink Juice Moisturizer. This is also great. That's kind of like my everyday moisturizer, where this one is more of like a nighttime one. And then I have the Bite Beauty Agave Lip Mask, like night lip mask. And then I do have two scents over here. This is from Lush. It's the Yog Nog. It's a body spray. This is part of their like holiday line. It's kind of, I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like every time I get a Lush body spray, I love it at first, and then like I feel like a few uses in, I'm like, oh, it's intense. And then the other one, this is just always on top. It's the Physicians Formula Butter Paradise perfume. Moving over to this section, my palettes and stuff. I have two primers from Laura Mercier. These are ones I've been trying. I got an Influencer. These are their like new primers. So the pink one is like the blurring primer, and then the white one is the hydrating. So far I've been really enjoying those, so I just wanted to use those. Those are the only primers I have up here. I also have this. I don't know what I would consider this as. This is the Farsali Liquid Glass. I got this in BoxyCharm this month, and I've used it once, and I don't really know what I think about it yet, so I want to use that. And then setting sprays, I have two. I've got the Wet n Wild Matte Finish Setting Spray and the Smashbox Photo Finish Setting Spray. Love this one. The Wet n Wild one is kind of just like my go-to if I want something a little bit more mattifying that's really going to like set my makeup in place, but it's not my favorite by any means. I do have a few brow products here that I just didn't really have a spot for elsewhere. The first one is my Flower Beauty Bubble Brow. I love this stuff. This stuff is so great, and it's since been discontinued, and I'm very sad. And then this one is something I'm trying. This is from Brow Bar. It's like a little brow kit. I'm still figuring out my thoughts on that, so I'm keeping these ones up top. And then I also have a single shadow. I have not used this yet. It's from Kat Von D, and it's the Lolita shadow. Lolita was like her super popular lip color that she had. This actually, I tried it on the other night before I took off my makeup, and it looked super good with my eyes, so I am excited to use that. I just haven't gone in for it yet. And then my brushes are up here. I have some of them set aside for like ones I'm not using as often, but these are like my go-tos right now. And then probably the most exciting thing that I think I would be interested in most seeing is the palettes. The first one is kind of hidden away here. This is from Storybook Cosmetics. This is the Robin Hood palette. I got this in BoxyCharm last month, and it's just like a green and gold palette. I've only used it a few times, and so I want to get some more use out of that. And then the rest of my palettes. The first one back here is one I don't talk about a lot, but I really like. This is the Alien palette from Jeffree Star. It's honestly one of my go-to like everyday palettes. It's so pretty. It's beautiful. So I'm keeping that one up top. And then I have my Laura Geller Face, Eyes, and Cheeks palette. This is kind of one of my go-to face palettes. I don't use the eyeshadows up here, but the face products are so pretty. You've got two blushes. This is like a all over body glow, but I use it on the face, bronzer, and 2 highlights. All so beautiful, love it. Something I've been using a little bit more recently is the Tarte Park Avenue Princess. This is like their chisel palette or something. I really enjoy this palette. I got this in BoxyCharm last year, and I just kind of forget about it sometimes, so I'm wanting to set it up top to really get some use out of it. And then the rest are all eye palettes, and honestly I think most of them are pretty new. This first one is the Melt Cosmetics Gemini palette. I got this in November, and I'm still kind of like figuring out my thoughts on this. I think it's such a beautiful palette, and like the shades are so cool, and it's like grungy and just like really cool, and I still am trying to figure out the best way for me to use it who doesn't wear a lot of color, and so I still haven't done a video on this, but I want to with like some looks. This one I guess isn't new. This is the Flower Beauty Sugar Rush palette. I put this up here because 2 shadows broke on this recently, and so they were honestly like 2 of my favorites. This one was like a shimmery like light pink, and then this one was like a matte brown. And so I'm trying to figure out if without those shades is it worth keeping, and so I'm putting it up here for this go around because I want to try and use it without those shades and see what I think. Another new one, this is the Palm Springs Dream palette from Too Faced. Just got this in my BoxyCharm Premium this month, and I've only used it once so far, but it was nice. It performed well. I feel like it wore well throughout the day, so I want to get some more use out of that. And now that I'm thinking about it, I think I'm going to put this one away. It is one of my favorites, but I need to focus on other things. This one I am keeping up top. This is the Bobbi Brown Brunch, or what was it called? Love in the Afternoon eyeshadow palette. This thing is beautiful. I mean, the packaging on this alone is like stunning, but the shades in here are some of my favorites. It looks kind of boring and like plain, but they perform so well. This shimmer here is my absolute favorite, and it's such a good palette, and so I'm keeping this up top because it's one of my go-tos. I wanted to bring this one back into the mix. This is the Marvelous Mauves palette from Dose of Colors. I got this in BoxyCharm in October and just honestly haven't used it a ton, and so I just want to use it and figure out my thoughts on it. I kind of had some mixed thoughts when I first got it, so I want to see how I feel about it, but it is definitely like a color scheme that I would reach for, so I want to use that more. This last one is actually something that's really fun and exciting. This is from Natasha Denona. This is the Cranberry palette. I got this in my BoxyCharm Premium in December, and I've used it a few times, but not like a ton, but it's honestly like really pretty. My go-to look is putting this all over my lid and then blending this into the crease, and it just makes for like such an easy, like pretty look. I haven't used this color a ton. It's not really something I reach for, but these ones are also very pretty, and so I want to use this a little bit more these next few weeks and get some fun looks out of it. Let's finish off really quick with like some eye products and some lip products. For eyes, I did narrow this down a little bit as far as what's in here. I have a lash primer from Lancome, my NYX Proof It waterproof primer. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I'm trying to use it up. And then the Appeal Gel Liner in the shade Desert Taupe. I also have an eyeliner from Kat Von D. This is the Cake Pencil. Got this in BoxyCharm last month. I have a few brow products here. The first one, this is the LA Girl Shady Slim Brow Pencil. Billion Dollar Brows, Universal Brow Pencil. Got another eyeshadow primer from Wet n Wild. Clear brow gel from Billion Dollar Brows. An eyeliner from Hank & Henry. This is the Slick With It liner. I am putting this liquid shadow in here. This is from Wet n Wild. And this is one of their like liquid catsuit shimmer liquid eyeshadows. And I remember liking this, but I haven't used it in a while. And I feel like it's maybe getting old and it's starting to like separate a little bit, so I want to get some use out of that quick. I am using 3 mascaras right now. I have the Thrive Cosmetics, what is this called? Liquid Lash Extensions, the Glossier Lash Slick, and the Tarte Big Ego Mascara. For this little lip bin, I've got a few things in here. I've got a few lip liners, This one I actually just need to get rid of. I didn't even know this was in here. This is the Dirty Little Secrets lip pencil, and it's just not a shade I use, so I'm actually going to put that in my giveaway bin. And then this is the Jordana Easy Liner in the shade Rockin' Rose. This is a classic Steve Laurent lip liner, and it's in the shade Chic, I think. Yeah, that one's great. Got my two Glossier Balm.coms. One's the rose one, and then this one's the Birthday Balm.com. I also have this Tarteist lip paint lip gloss. I actually put this in my last shop, my stash, and kind of forgot about it, but the cap broke, and so I just want to use it before I can't anymore. I really enjoyed this lip paint. Probably one of my favorite lip glosses. This is the Dominique Cosmetics Lemonade lip gloss. It's beautiful. Another one of my favorite lip glosses, the e.l.f. Lip plumping gloss. It's in the shade Champagne. It's really great. And then the last one in here, this was in my Project Pan from 2019. This is the ColourPop satin lipstick or something in the shade Strip. I feel like I have like maybe 1 or 2 uses in this before it goes bad, so I just want to finish that up real quick. But I've got a few other little products back here. This is my Make Marine Solve. I love this stuff. It's just like a beauty solve, I guess. And then a Victoria's Secret roller balm. I probably need to get rid of that. I have this little hand cream, my sharpener back here, and then I have some liquid lipsticks and like lipsticks. This is from Bite Beauty, and it's in the shade Chai, and I just haven't really used it, so I want to use that. I've got my Jeffree Star liquid lipstick, and this is in the shade Androgyny. Love that one. This is new. I got this in my BoxyCharm this month. It's from Manna Kadar, and it's in the shade Dream. It's like a lip whip. I tried it on the other day, and it's super lightweight, so I want to give that a few more shots. And then I have my two Dose of Colors liquid lipsticks. I love these. I have the shade Rosebud and Nude Mood. They're both beautiful. Just one's like a cool tone and one's a warm tone. And then I have my Glossier Generation G lipstick. It's in the shade Cake. Fenty Beauty Balm, whatever this stuff is called, Fenty Glow lip gloss. This is just like a lip balm. I've got another like Trader Joe's lip balm with sunscreen, and then I pulled these two in. This used to be one of my favorites. This is the NYX Slip Tease, and it's like a liquid lipstick that's like super lightweight, so I want to try that again. And then the Girlactic Matte Lip Paint. I remember really liking that, so I want to give that a shot again. This one's in the shade Demure. So that's everything. I feel like I want to figure out a way of doing these better and more frequently, but so that they're faster to make, because right now it just takes so long to like go through and say everything. So I don't know, I feel like I've been trying to pay attention to how other people do it, and I'm just failing. I don't know, but thank you so much for joining me. I hope you sorry, I just flung the camera everywhere. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below if you haven't already. I would love to have you around, and until next time, bye guys.